love how simple this is too.
Dude, so simple. Bro.
So simple, but so classy.
Yeah, and we worked with a local artist to do a mural because like Philly's known for murals, so like bringing the entire, you know, whole
blacklight.
Philly vibe, you know.
Blacklight.
Yeah, the blacklight turns on at night, and the whole thing glows in the dark. It's
gosh. Whoa. And they're all like real plants in there too.
They look at the underwater aroid flower.
Well, how is it surviving?
Oh, well, that's an Anubias. They're aquatic.
There's aquatic aroids?
Yep, aquatic aroids. Anubias.
I thought aroids are...
Mostly epiphytic?
Yeah.
Nope.
No, yeah, they're aquatic too.
All walks of life.
Mind blown.
Of life.
Plants don't live by no rules. So how many reptiles do you have at a time in total?
I would say about 50 to 60 in the store.
That's
We
awesome.
also have the basement too, so we have some downstairs that's breeding, and then we have everything in the centers are breeding efforts. So like everything you hear is that stuff we're captive breeding. So it could be available in the future, but in the meantime, we show people how to set up plant in tanks. So everything in the center is planted with live foliage, also mixed with some artificial, and then everything you see available for here.
What is that?
They're poison dart frogs.
Yeah.
But it's like colorful.
Oh yeah. They eat fruit flies, so they're not poisonous. They get their poison toxin in the wild from the bugs they eat.
Because you don't feed them that.
They're not actually just like born poisonous. Yeah.
I never knew that.
They like hyperconcentrate and excrete the poison through their pores.
And then paired with the evolutionary advantage of being brightly colored, lets enemies know even though I'm small, don't eat me.
Correct. And that's why there's also mimics where like there's star frogs that are mimics that look like they're poisonous, but they actually don't ever have the quality of being
Somebody
poisonous.
figured out that his buddy never got messed with.
Exactly.
I make myself purple.
Yeah, it must be one of the color things. That's wild.
Well, we only work with species that are going to be able to be taken care of in like a city environment, like space. Like no tegus, no like iguanas, no large tortoises. That's as big as we go. Hermits.
Is that full grown?
They'll get to be about 5 inches, 6 inches, I think.
But not become.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like people are never really equipped. Most of the time
They don't think
when they
about
jump
it.
into the whole, you know, Burmese pythons and stuff.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that would
Where's
be really
that
cool.
25-foot snake gonna live properly, you know? Hopefully not in a tub, which most of the time is a tub, you know?
Yeah.
Like what life is that?
Until the kid goes to college and then release it in the wild or do something irresponsible. Yeah.
I think Florida has chameleons now.
Oh yeah, they
Like
do.
a Florida native chameleon. Like they have them from Hawaii and now Florida. Just from people just letting them go.
Did you see the Europlatus? Europlatus, right?
Oh yeah, the Europlatus.
What?
Mossy
Mossy
leaf tail.
leaf tail.
His
So
eyes open
look
too.
on
You can
the
see his
side.
eyes.
Naturally evolved to basically mimic, you know, bark, lichen-covered bark. Yeah.
Downstairs we have an animal interaction room, which is where someone is right now. So like anyone that's like getting an animal from us, it's all appointment based and whatnot. So you have to set up an appointment. We walk you through everything.
Come meet your new family
You know,
member.
you got to fill out paperwork. Yeah, the whole process to make sure you know like these things live to be like 30, 40 years old. Some of them, so you got to really be prepared to know what you're getting yourself into.
Bigger commitment than
Someone thinks, a lot of
yeah.
people think like it's like, you know, my kid, this and that. We're like, yeah, your kid's gonna go to college or wherever. Can this reptile go with him, or are you gonna take care of it? And most of the time, the parents are like, oh well, I don't really want to touch it, and you're like, well then, what are you gonna do? You know?
Or like if they're gifting it to somebody, like that person just
we
doesn't
honestly
even know.
we always recommend people to do research. Like there's that like that spontaneous purchase buyer, we always kind of like educate them to do some research. You don't just go out and just buy a reptile to make your kid happy because they saw a Disney movie or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
right.
you got 2 years.
Yeah,
you know.
right.
How they move their eyes is very creepy though.
Yeah.
Oh, so cool.
Bird eater. It'll be the size of a dinner plate.
The size of a dinner plate.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And so they're from what? What is that, South America? Salmon pink bird eater.
Eastern Brazil.
So they obviously get big enough to eat a bird.
Oh yeah. They're known to jump and eat birds in midair.
In midair.
Yeah.
In mid-air?
Yeah, they'll jump and catch them. Yeah.
I'm terrified. I'm slightly terrified.
And then this is scorpion. Asian forest scorpion.
Look at that. Now, I've known people who've had tarantulas and stuff, did the whole like fear factor, let them crawl on their hands. What does make them want to be aggressive? Or like what makes them a pet versus...
No animal likes anything going towards their face, just like any human being, you know? Like,
Here, hi!
Okay.
sing 'em. Most people think it's cute to just go to its face and like pet it or like go over its eyes. Like, it's gonna want to protect itself, like anything.
But if it's just crawling on your hand, there's no threat,
But
there's no...
absolutely.
Well, I mean, some animals
gotta be on their
are more
terms.
aggressive than
Yeah.
others. It depends.
Absolutely, it's the species for sure.
Yeah. Oh, are they out?
These are gastrophilas.
Yay!
Are they out?
I have one of these from ILLExotics. This is a green keel-bellied lizard.
These guys are
Gastrophilas
love.
priscina.
It's so cute. They hang out all the time with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Oh really? Like they're just chilling?
Yeah, they like cuddle.
It's a pair. And so, yeah, and they're so social, they have such personalities.
Now, I guess if they live for as long as you're saying, you don't have to necessarily like set some of the breeding program aside to be the next to breed, right? You just kind of use the same mother over and over again.
Some of these are kind of like our pets.
Okay.
Yeah. And we live at work, so it's kind of like you have to enjoy it and also share it too.
Yeah.
You know? Because that's what Franco really likes to do. He likes to share it and share the information. It's all educational.
Oh, you just want to slide down.
Yeah. And then everything there's live planted.
Yep. Like casual alba variegated
This is one of the
monstera.
paludariums, is what it is.
Really?
Oh, and it's the back of it?
Correct.
Oh, so there's no doors. So good.
Correct. So you have like your drainage layer, and then everything that you would have in there are isopods, springtails.
It's all completely bioactive.
The alba was cut already because it was getting a little wild in there. Yeah, it's super cool. And it's all growing underneath the new lights they have available, which clearly it's been growing in alba. And
You recommend those more than
the Brahms and
the
everything.
domes?
the new LED ones,
Yeah.
are great, dude. Comes with a UVB bulb across.
Oh, nice.
The LED technology in these are a lot better.
Was this the first thing or like later in the
This was
project?
literally like a last minute decision to do. I had the idea and I was like, why don't we do this? Frank was like, yeah. So
Yeah.
Did you build it all out yourself too?
yeah, totally.
Wow.
Kind of built it like a shower just with patio doors. I wanted to access it still. I didn't want have the whole glass front. I would have loved to have the whole solid glass front, but then I was like, how do I get in? How do we get in? How do we color it? How do we trim it?
I also feel like the doors set it up as like a backyard.
Yeah, like you're looking out.
Yeah.
Really like,
That's
South America.
amazing. Did they make you do extra permits or anything in here for that, or just built it out?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Okay, so these are the first
Go for
ever captive-bred hermit crabs.
Correct.
So, hermit crab
Or the number
pet
one
industry.
exploited pet in the pet
Number
industry.
one exploited pet.
Yeah.
And so finally,
So everything you see at the boardwalk is basically wild caught.
which
So
is not sustainable, not good.
yeah, not
nothing.
sustainable, not good. They're just basically grabbing these things while they're sleeping and throw them in a bag. And then they
Which is
paint
sad.
them and then they sell them to you.
Yeah, so don't buy hermit crabs from Myrtle Beach. Sorry,
Or any
California,
reptiles or
Myrtle
anything
Beach.
of that nature. Nothing animal related.
But Franco has a friend who set out and decided that they wanted to make it their mission to breed captive breed hermit crabs, and so they did. And so now you can't really see them here. They're nocturnal, so they're buried. That's why they have deep sand so that they could bury in there, and then they come out at night. But it's really cool that you guys are able to offer like the first ever captive-bred, sustainably sourced, proud to own hermit crabs.
That is literally our mantra here at ILLExotics.
That's awesome.
Everything, so typically your higher light plants are in the front, so that's why you have your Hoyas and stuff in the front. Certain empties. So certain things like that are up front, and then everything else is kind of just in between. Yeah, and it stays happy with the lighting.
Yeah,
everything's
if your Ceropegia is blooming, you know you have highlights.
Yeah.
Like the light in here is fine. Look at these.
You got the whole.
This is how people are taking care of their home. This Wardian case was custom designed by someone in the neighborhood.
Really?
Yeah, from Europe.
So beautiful. Wardian cases were first created basically in the Renaissance period when exploration around the world was a thing. These explorers on these ships would go to far-off lands like Madagascar all the way from France, and they would see and discover these amazing, awesome plants, but they then would have to put them back on a ship across the really salty ocean for 3 months at a time, and when the plants got back to France, they obviously weren't alive anymore. So they had to devise this thing that basically could house them in an environment that they were used to for long periods of time without having to get fresh water and everything like that. And so the Wardian case was created, and so basically it was man's first ever idea of a terrarium, and we built it form over function and form to build this thing that was like exactly what we needed. And basically we can thank the Wardian case for all tropical plants now everywhere in the world is because of them. So it's really cool.
That's awesome. And yeah, it's not ridiculously pretty, just functional.
And that does take it back
they
to...
have really beautiful ornate ones.
That takes it back to when they first started bringing plants inside, because that was considered like an elite thing, because it was keeping tropical things. Like, how did you get something from, a subtropical place to Paris? How did that happen? And you kept it alive, and this and that. Or what they had to go through with whenever that time was to get something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now everything nowadays is being readily available,
Yeah, you can't get
with a consumer base that is so much bigger.
right, and where you can get any good to anywhere else in the country in 3 days or whatever, right?
Can you imagine? I just got the Monstera. It was on a ship for 4 months. Like, no, we don't have to wait.
It's boxed up. How did you do that? How did you get it here?